Du-du-du-du. Du-du-du-du-du. Anthony, you done with Peter? Du-du-du-du. Du. Du-du-du-du. Oh, yeah. Du-du-du-du-du. 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 Okay, how we doing there? What's my thing? Live stream. Okay, then there's that. Oh, there I am. Jesus, I look fat. That is not a good angle. That's bullshit. That is not a good angle. That is wrong. This thing is wrong. This thing is broken. Broken. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. Here we go. 5. Hold on. What is this? 2 seconds. That one is 28 seconds. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Oh my goodness, Dana. Dana. Forever. Actually, I needed to add another thing that was like really, really cool yesterday, and I said that sometimes the women can say something, just the smallest little thing, or do something that's so cool it can make you kind of fall for them. Like I said many times, my single life, my dating life, well, there were no dates, but my romantic life in my 20s was horrific, and well, I had two girlfriends in my 20s. One in my early 20s, one in my mid 20s. But anytime I was single, it was just awful. Then my friends, I've talked about this before, moved out to Chicago, and then in Chicago I was hitting pay dirt left and right. Just like generally, just people are like nicer out there, and it was a good situation. It was a good situation because the friends I had out there were really cool. So and it doesn't matter anyway. So here's the point: this one woman was out there. She was lovely. She was Swedish, and she said something really cool. We were kind of an item out there. She was blonde and cute and of Swedish descent, like I said, and she was always smiling, always positive, just great. And I was going home. I had to go. We all went out for a lunch, and the day I had to go home. We used to go there and just party very prolifically for a few days. And one time I said, all right, we were with the group walking to the car, and I said, why don't you walk over here with me for a second? And I took her around the corner, and we go into this garage, and she said, lay it on me. She said something like, okay, Tom, lay it on me. In other words, like, do my best to, and I thought, like, kiss her, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Coolest thing ever. That's like 2003 or 2. That's when girls were wearing that lipstick that was like looked like the was it like varnish or whatever? It looked like it was the stuff that was very. It looked like lacquer, maybe is that what I'm thinking? The stuff that they put on some bars, and underneath them are like postcards and baseball cards, like the Hub Pub. Anyway, lay it on me. That was one for the ages. All right, let's get right down to business here. I want to like Jimmy Kimmel, and I want us all to like Jimmy Kimmel. It's hard because he's so damaged as a person that he doesn't give you enough time doesn't give you enough time to he doesn't give you enough time to like remember how he was. And it's too bad because Kimmel was great. There was a time where he was like great in the early 2000s with him and Adam Carolla in the Man Show and Win Ben Stein's Money. But now he's like just bitchy and broken. So here's him like last night talking about Karen Bass.
And if he's one of the top two candidates after the primary next Tuesday,
he's talking about what's his name, Spencer Pratt.
And if he's one of the top two candidates after the primary next Tuesday, a week from tonight, he will be one of our two choices for mayor of Los Angeles. So if you don't want to vote for Karen Bass on June 2nd, I get it. But you better find somebody else to vote for. And preferably somebody who isn't wasting our time and money to get himself back on television. And for the rest of the candidates running for mayor, I hope you're paying attention to why you are currently trailing this person.
Who is your political role model?
Jesus Christ.
Well, I couldn't agree more. Jesus Christ. What was Jesus' message? Was it incarcerate the homeless? Or was it heal the sick with rose quartz? I'm not sure. Either way, good going, LA. We did it again.
So that's bitchy Jimmy Kimmel. But he did the thing with Adam Carolla at the Walk of Fame. Adam Carolla got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And for a moment, you actually get pieces of what he used to be before he became emotionally just broken.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. I've prepared some remarks about my friend Adam. Some of them have been touched upon, but in 1994, I was the sports guy on the Kevin and Bean show at the world-famous K-Rock. One morning, we got a knock on the back door. There was a man there. He said he was a boxing instructor. I was getting ready to fight another guy who was on the show. This boxing instructor wanted to train the other guy, but I answered the door, so he got me instead. The first time he put me on the air, first time we put Adam on the air, Adam told Kevin and Bean, Jimmy is 160 pounds of pure chiseled steel. Unfortunately, he weighs 225. We did very little training. We would box for about 8 minutes and then drink Snapple and go to lunch. As a result, I lost that fight, but I gained a life partner. And if that sounds gay to you, it was and it is. Adam wasn't just a boxing instructor. He was a carpenter and turned out one of the funniest people I'd ever met. We started going to lunch for hours. We would sit and talk. After the fight, I wanted to keep him on the show, so he came up with a character, Mr. Burcham, who was a high school shop teacher who'd call in with announcements for his students on their way to school. Burcham called in once and said he was building a woman and needed 25 feet of fallopian tubing. The listeners loved him. Kevin and Bean loved him.
You guys are just listening to this. You're not watching it. Well, I got to do something about that. Sometime it's time to do StreamYard probably. But Kimmel looks absolutely comfortable and not over emotional. He's like enjoying himself. It reminds me, this is the guy from 20 years ago.
Him. Even the station management loved him, largely because he was working there for free. Somewhere along the way, Adam started filling in as host of Loveline and then became permanent host of Loveline. And they had Loveline, the TV show, on MTV, which meant we didn't get to go to lunch much anymore. And K-Rock also wouldn't allow us to be on the air together. We were separated like children who couldn't behave in class. So we came up with a show we could do together, The Man Show with our friend Danielle Kellison, and then another show, Crank Anchors. And then Adam worked on my talk show and did a bunch of his own shows. We mentioned some of them. Adam had a late-night talk show, a home improvement show, a hybrid home improvement / late-night talk show. He produced and starred in his own movies. He made multiple documentaries, best-selling books, stand-up specials. He's done voiceover in movies, commercials. He hosted 2 nationally syndicated. I thought those were your people, Adam. I think
that was my mother from up above.
No, your mother wouldn't be here if she was still alive. And then eventually Adam started his own podcast, which allowed him to do what he loves to do most, which is talk and talk and talk and talk with his eyes closed so you can't break in and his ears squeezed shut. Adam always showed flashes of genius, even early on. This is a great story. Thieves kept stealing the stereo out of Adam's car, so he painted the stereo beige. His theory being that no one would want a flesh-colored car stereo, and his theory was correct. It was never stolen again. Adam is not an easy person to understand. He is full of contradictions, or as he would say, contracoctions. On one hand, he took it upon himself to build my children a playhouse in the backyard, and on the other, he regularly peed in their sandbox. Not when they were in it, but still. One of Adam's signature bits over the years was complaining about everything. But this particular example, he complained about people who drank Mountain Dew, a product he called nectar of the word we do not say anymore to describe the mentally disabled. And then one night I'm listening to Loveline, and I hear Adam doing a commercial for Mountain Dew. Do the do is how it ended. And why did he do the do? Why would he do an endorsement for a soda he spent years using as a litmus test for whether someone is an idiot or not? They paid him $10,000. It's funny that we're even in Hollywood right now because Adam famously announced he hates California so much he would be moving out of the state as soon as his kids graduated high school. That announcement was made, I think, 6 years ago. Now his kids are saying, you know what, we'll move when you graduate high school. Adam and I, as you probably know, don't agree much when it comes to politics, but I love him dearly. I've never worked with anyone funnier. I am proud of him. I am. This is a guy who worked his way up from nothing to become literally a millionaire. And if you don't believe it, you'll hear him say it every single show. Adam is a true original. He was a poor kid from the San Fernando Valley who was rejected by the management at Taco Bell and whose name will now forever be part of this filthy, disgusting intersection next to a bank that has been abandoned for like 35 years. And so I am pleased to welcome the Laverne to my Shirley, my friend Adam Carolla, to the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Great speech, right? Man, wouldn't it be nice if everybody could just get, wouldn't it be nice if everybody could just simply, like, get over it and start being sane again and could get, like, just get rid of their yard signs and calm down and stop having, 8647, stop chasing ice around, stop doing all the insane stuff? It would be nice. If people could do that, but it hasn't happened. I mean, I assume it's got to happen at some point. I think it has to happen. I mean, I don't know. Is it the SSRIs? Is it all the psychotropic medicine? I don't know. Maybe maybe these, what are the fat things I'm taking? Maybe my, like, Wegovy and stuff will knock people off of psych medicine. It's like some of these new Wegovies are like supposed to be like cure everything. Maybe that'll do it. Maybe that can get people off of like doing stuff. This Wegovy, by the way, I found out personally. This is my dose is now higher. It used to be 2 milligrams, centimeters, whatever it is. Now it's 4. The way it makes me stop eating, especially at the end of the night, is vomiting. That's how, and like so I'm bulimic now, is what I am, which is fine. I don't really care, but goodness. So, by the way, I guess we could say friend of the show, but Chris Klemmer, who's 46, is having a baby. I had a baby at 51, I think. But he's having a baby. I generally was never a big booster for having babies really late at all. But once you're having the baby, hey, that debate's over. And it's interesting because we're just messaging back and forth. He said, like, it's not bad being an old dad, right? And it is not bad because for me, for me, and I know a lot of you guys, just from the text thread, well, some of the text threads that I'm in, a lot of you guys, your parents were like a little bit older too, especially the larger families. But for me, talk about maybe you're like me. One, I'm never going to stop working, so it's not as if, oh no, we're changing diapers instead of like going to the villages and golfing. Like I don't want to do any of that. I'm going to keep working forever until I can't. I rested and um enjoyed my retirement in my 20s. Maybe you did the same. It's like, so I don't need to ever not do, like, what am I going to do if I'm not doing stuff? Well, there'll be a point at which I assume, that I won't be able to get the jobs that I want. Probably in the next 10 years, maybe, or maybe. But the thing about kids, and I was never a kid guy. The thing about kids, well, I shouldn't say that. I don't want to hang out with kids. We were at the what's it called today, where there's swings and stuff. Because Alice set it up so that I suddenly had 3 boys, and she was free and got to go see our daughter at Fauntleroy in a chorus or whatever. But like I'm not a baby guy. I don't really find them cute. I find some like toddlers cute if they're doing funny things, like have a bucket on their head and running into a wall. That kind of thing is okay. But when you have a kid, the thing about the kid is that, and I think that people can also have this with, to a different extent, with pets. But a dog is going to act like a dog. A kid, you'd never know what the kid's going to say. You never know. A kid is put on earth, immediately starts to try to figure you out, reacts to the things that you say and do, some of which the kid will be absolutely enamored with and bowled over by and pleased with. And then sometimes the kid starts to learn and starts to try to manipulate. I can't say it. You know what I mean? But it's the original stuff that, like, it's the content and the bits and stuff that it's just like fantastic. I like this new guy, Peter Rabbit. I like him a lot. I find him interesting. I like that he likes the simple things. And like, right, I could die anytime now. Anybody could at any time now, as a matter of fact, and I lost my father when I was 31, and that was, to me, still like, or 33, whatever. We didn't see it coming, so it was like, holy God, and we really needed him not to be dead. We needed him to be the living one because the other one had terminal cancer. But so it killed me, and I was like, oh, I can't, like, that was so terrible. And so I think, like, all my kids, there's a good chance that they'll all have a dad who dies early, and I think, like, that's sad, but also it'll be fine. It'll be fine. There's extended family. There's Alice, and find somebody new. I think she's a pretty attractive lady. Some other guy will be wannabe. There'll be some guy, some introvert somewhere who not allowed to get a word in edgewise. So Alice will boss around, who'll be subordinate to her, and he'll just be thrilled that this pretty, blonde, sometimes brilliant lady, oftentimes crazy, is paying attention to him. And it'll be fine. I just don't think this whole thing, and with people saying, it's too late, it's too, and I was not a, what, you're 75 years old, you're Tony Randall, and like his girlfriend who's 35 wants to have kids. Freaking, who cares? God. There's enough crappy parents out there anyway. So that's my feeling for Klemmer. I'm glad for him, and it's so exciting, so exciting. And at this age, you've got a lot of wisdom. You've got a lot of wisdom. You don't, those of you in large families and who've had a lot of siblings, and if you've had lots of kids, I know that you just, as you have more kids, and as you've been a parent for a while, you're so shocked at the stuff that you prepared, the way you prepared and this is why the baby accessory industry is so brilliant. Because like the way you prepared for your first kid, um, is not at all like you subsequently prepare for any other kid. Really, I found anyway. Like with our first kid, we were like playing Baby Einstein constantly while Elsa was pregnant and playing Baby Einstein. We had the baby and I had like fun games for the baby, but educational too. And we had the thing that heats up the baby, um, the milk, and we had all the gas in a changing table. I actually thought about that. Like, I saw somebody put out a changing table, like on the curb, and I was like, wow, remember that when we thought it was so critical that we had a changing table? And they're fine, you know. And Alice said when I said that, she said, "Well, that was helpful time." It's like, yeah, but we haven't had one for 12 years. We don't have any of the stuff that we had anymore. You know, you can get used to almost anything. But congratulations, Klemmer. Let's get to some more politics. Graham Platner. Platner. This is great. This guy is such a piece. Listen to this. This is him. He's going after Susan Collins because no, I should start with Collins actually. I should start with Collins. Susan Collins was asked about Graham Platter. Graham Platter keeps saying that Collins sent him to war, which is like not really true. And John, and the left is now all saying this. They're saying this is unbelievable what she said. So here's Susan Collins. This is Featherston asking her the question.
Senator Collins, Mr. Platner says that you sent him to war, but in fact, he enlisted twice.
Correct.
What is your comment on that?
Well, first of all, he not only enlisted twice after the war was started, but he also went to work for a security company, a controversial one named Blackwater, after his term in the service was over. So I respect anyone who steps forward to serve their country. But the fact is, that was Platner's decision to serve. He was not drafted.
Thank you.
So this is what Platner said in response to that. And this is so inglorious.
Collins voted to support starting the war in Iraq. On 3 occasions after that, she voted against withdrawing troops. On at least 2 occasions, she voted to fund the war.
That was Platner's decision to serve.
Now, all these years later, instead of acknowledging that she was wrong, she's decided that she's going to blame those of us who in our late teens and early 20s signed up to serve our country. That somehow it's our fault.
She said nothing about blame, nothing about fault at all. But he's being like this. This really takes the alpha out of you. If you're being bitching and moaning about joining the service, then getting sent to do what the service is meant to do.
That she and establishment politicians like her wanted to abuse our willingness to serve.
Can you imagine the self-pity bullshit, like bitchiness of this? Oh!
To go send us off to fight in stupid wars that did nothing but make some people very, very rich at the expense of American taxpayer dollars. It's no surprise to me, because even today she continues to not stand up against the stupid war in Iran. She continues to not stand up against any of the abuses or the idiocy coming out of the Trump administration. No, the answer for Susan Collins is that she didn't have any power at all. Her votes to support the war in Iraq, that didn't mean anything. Those of us who put on the uniform, those of us who joined the U.S. military, it's our fault for doing that.
It is your fault, you helpless bitch. You're the one who went and signed up for the war that was on. You signed up for war. There's only one way in the United States that you can go to war in this century, and that's signing up for it. You signed up for it.
This is very, very expected from establishment Republican politicians who love to talk about supporting the troops, but in the end will always desert us.
So the funny thing is, of course, the first war resolution, 58% of Democrats in the Senate voted for, including Hillary and Joe Biden, and yeah. So I mean, it's so incredibly disingenuous, but it's so low T. It really is. God, what a bitchy talking point. And the left is trying to make it a thing now. Saying, they're trying to say, oh, look, Susan Collins is blaming the dead soldiers for being dead. It's like, okay. It's a bit of a stretch. Meanwhile, the guy who Platner mocked, the guy Teddy Daniels, who Platner mocked, the guy who got shot on the video, he's now attacking him in a nice attack. This is a quote from him. I'm just trying to clear my throat. Flannel shirt and all, Glenn Platner is Tim Walz on steroids, an entitled brat who campaigns with socialist Bernie Sanders. A real man by the right lights of the Democratic Party, he presents himself as relatable to working-class Americans, but in reality, he's a typical elitist who believes blue-collar, hardworking, salt-of-the-earth rural Americans are stupid and racist. I couldn't care less about the comments he made about me, but they are a reflection of his character. I never thought I'd see the day when Democrats would even consider backing a candidate like this. And it's a good hit on him. And by the way, I have an idea for a campaign ad. Tell me about this. So Platner went on Reddit. You know, he used to be a bartender in Washington, D.C. He went on Reddit and said, like, why don't blacks tip? I don't understand. How about this for a campaign ad? You have somebody playing Platner at the bar. A party of a few black guys or black couples comes in to sit at the bar, and then you play his inner monologue. Oh, great. More blacks who don't tip me. I would run it in a second. Make the ad, print it, let's go. Absolutely. But yeah, they should really certainly they should light him up in every possible way they can. In non-surprising news, since the left has created so many psychos, here we go. Erica Kirk is still in danger.
A San Antonio man was arrested today after he was accused of threatening to kill Erica Kirk ahead of a planned appearance at a Turning Point USA event. 26-year-old Jacob Winsky faces 2 felony charges of making a terroristic threat causing public fear. Investigators say he replied to a social media post about a Turning Point event by writing, "I know exactly where to bomb," and a message from an email registered to an account to Winsky allegedly stated, "Death to Erica Kirk and every single speaker there."
Great.
Certainly a disturbing case. A San Antonio man
So
was
there you
arrested
go.
today
This
after
crazy chud, another one. And I shouldn't even say it's just the left. I mean, that's maybe Candace Owens just doing it. Who knows? But this shouldn't be a thing that's happening. It should not be a thing that's happening. But the left is a party of communists, anti-Semites, and psychos, which brings us to Tim Walz.
Do you want to hear more from members and leaders from the Somali community to say, we need to look at ourselves, we need to hold our own neighbors accountable, because look at the damage that this has done to our community. What do you want to hear more from, instead of just saying, don't blame us? Do you want to see more ownership and oversight from within this?
Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the crimes that they have committed. I think for the community to maybe educate their population, because I think what you're seeing here is there's secondary victims in this, that there's providers inside the community that are then victimizing the community themselves by signing them up, because when we're going to some of these people, they're like, I had no idea I was in this program. I think it's asking us then, for every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men, asking us to do more about that. I think it's crime in general. And I think the biggest thing on this is just making sure that we're educating the population. And again, this is 80 people or so that have been convicted in this, maybe some more in that.
So it's the left who's obsessed with the race. They said Somali community. He said white men do it too. It's like, we're not this isn't another race debate. Somalis seem to be very comfortable with coming here and starting right in on grifts. That's the problem. You're allowed to say it. It's, well, white men do it too. Oh, God, shut up. I'm so sick of these people. And I mean, but if you voted for that, then that's what you voted for. Sarah Anson, where's Peter? Be down there with him, please. So yeah, so that's like it's so weak. But I mean, you vote for this. This is what you get. This is what you get. You vote for these psychos. This is what you get. Which brings us to James Tallarico. Ken Paxton is already firing at this guy. Tallarico is the clam bake. We played a lot of this stuff yesterday. Who's very Tim Walzian, maybe even more so. Who came out with a tweet today? Oh no, he wasn't today, but somebody surfaced it. It was from about 3 years ago, saying like, yeah, I played Danny Zuko in Greece, and like I was awesome at it, or something like that. And I was like thinking, yeah, I'm sure you nailed it in all the dance moves, and I'm sure the only part that was difficult was the kissing of the Olivia Newton-John character. But yes, here we go.
This is Texas. This is
Big
not.
fat dude.
There are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6.
This is Texas. This is not.
The American flag is such a complicated symbol for most of us.
This is Texas. This is not.
They're going to call me a radical leftist.
This is Texas. This is not.
Something that you love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children.
This is Texas. This is not.
Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front.
This is Texas.
Brisket.
This is not.
It is now existential that we try to reduce our meat consumption. I am proud to say that our campaign has officially become a non-meat campaign.
This is Texas.
It's Trump
this
and
is
Paxton.
not.
Yeah, they call him low T, which is for Tallarico, which is absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. You just keep. There used to be a time, because they own the media, the left learned to be good at being bullies and using the media to threaten and push people around, and it worked for them for quite a while. But now we don't have to do that anymore. That's over now. We're just like we're done with this now. Let's see. Another kid. This is a kid is in Lawrence, Massachusetts, who's showing EBT fraud. I like this. His kid's name is Anthony Rubin. Check this out.
Now we're in one of many stores in the Dominican Republic that are stocked with food paid for in the United States with food stamps, sent here on a boat in a blue barrel, put in these little bodega stores, sold here. And it's all being paid for by you, the American taxpayer.
These are 50-pound bags of rice that are going to get shipped back to Santo Domingo.
I'm seeing these big giant refrigerator boxes in 55-gallon barrel drums being filled up with food. There's just so much fraud going on in this one city.
Yeah.
It's not even funny.
Food stamps were created to help low-income American households put groceries on the table at home. The program cost American taxpayers over $100 billion in 2025 alone. But in cities like Lawrence, Massachusetts, a chunk of that money isn't feeding Americans at all. Food bought with your tax dollars at local markets that accept EBT, along with groceries picked up for free from food bank lines, gets loaded into barrels, driven to shipping companies, and sent overseas to the Dominican Republic, where it gets sold for profit in local markets. SNAP rules require...
There we go. Are we shocked? I think we are not shocked. But they're doing it. It's like another grift after another grift after another grift. And it's all, it's blue states, blue cities. Well, white men also do fraud. Okay, so I see that we're not going to be doing anything about this. And they're not. They could care less. Care less. I am happy that Jill Biden is taking more crap for all the stuff that she said. And, saying that that she thought Joe was having a stroke. Like, I'll do this all day long. All day long. That is great. Great. She deserves, she's a disgrace. I don't know. Everybody in that administration is a disgrace. There's nothing that the Trump administration could do at all. I don't care how much he's making off of Bitcoin or selling to the United Arab Emirates or airplanes he's getting. I don't care what level of corruption you find. There is nothing as dastardly as running a shadow presidency, of having a group of unelected people act as the president, which is what these last bunch of people did. That is horrific. And people need to go to jail. If people don't need to go to jail, then they need to be shamed, shamed, and shamed. And right now, the Trump attorney is going after E. Jean Carroll, the psycho who accused him of rape. Yeah, go after her. Absolutely. She's a lying psycho. Let's go after them all. Now, you have to do it in a way. You can't say you have to do it in a way that is legal or appears to be legal, but not really. Since when? Why does Trump's the only administration that has to be impeccable when it comes to the law? Obama administration, nope, not one controversial bill, not one scandal. Like the Obama administration, he was able to do stuff with the IRS to go after Tea Party people. He did the gun running thing. He did the Benghazi thing. He went after journalists using the Department of Justice. Like, nope, not one scandal, not a smidge. Not a smidge. Like, okay, yeah, we don't trust you. You're all liars. And that's one thing that we need to be doing as Republicans. Never let these effers lecture us again. Never let these effers lecture us again. They were never right about anything. They used everything. They used COVID. They used everything. They used the George Floyd death. They used it to get more power. They used it to shut us up. No, you have to shut up. My friend Dave Andelman, who I think was on a burn barrel early on, like he had to leave his company that he built because he said that people shouldn't be looting after George Floyd. And a bunch of people went on his Facebook and said, "Read the room, Dave." And so he had to leave, and they had to bring on Tito Jackson to pretend like they were like George Floyd was an idiot. He did bad things. He got himself killed. Everything that happened subsequently, including a bunch of deaths and destruction, billions of dollars of destruction of property, was terrible and stupid, and people should have gone to jail. That whole year was stupid. Nothing that came of that. Black Lives Matter was always a corrupt thing, a corrupt syndicate. These freaking people like Monica Cannon Grants who used all of these NGOs to get themselves rich, couldn't spend 5 seconds before they bought a mansion. These are pigs and disgusting, horrible, awful, vicious people, and they're terrible. They're terrible. And that's what happened. That's what Black Lives Matter did. That's what the George Floyd fly did. I can't believe, like, now, there's a documentary that was put on by some woman who's actually married to a cop in Minneapolis. You can watch it for yourself and just see everything he did when they arrested him. He had done a couple of years before, including saying, "I can't breathe," the whole thing. He never had to do. First of all, they also had fentanyl in his system. And Derek Chauvin now has to be in jail and almost stabbed to death. Like, what are we doing? It just shows you how racist the left is, that they don't think that black people can behave themselves. So we have to change the rules. They do. That's how they feel. We're not going to prosecute anybody. We just talked to a sheriff in Maine, who they just arrested some kid who's been shooting at people like 5 times and is now still back on the streets. Just shooting wantonly at rival gang people or just into houses, wherever. It doesn't. Doesn't care, and they're letting them back on the streets because they want there to be, equal outcomes of people incarcerated, and they don't like the fact that it looks like 12% of the population is responsible for 40% of the crime or more, whatever. And so they're not going to fix the 12%. No. They're going to let them go so that we can cook the books so that equity is happening, because these people have small brains and are psychos. Psychos. Oh, so ridiculous. All right, let's check the chat, shall we? Ooh. I'm just talking to Billboard chart guy. Okay. And Melissa Gorman. Liz. Hi, Liz. Okay, Tom, what am I doing? Oh, yeah. The messages. Okay. Dr. Cheswick. Corolla said Kimmel hates Trump, but he gets paid to hate him. It kind of seems like that. Dishy says, every time I hear Susan Collins speak, I'm reminded how good that caller to Howie's Chump Lines imitation of hers. Yeah, that was the one who used to say, "You're lust after Steve," right? Oyster Bunny sounds as dumb as ever. Oyster Bunny, I don't mind that at all. Why is Fancy Pants Walt still a position of power? I thought he was giving up power. He's not running for president now. Kamala is still shining nationally somehow. Tim Walz is upset over the lack of glory holes. I don't know if that's true. He's happily married. Julian Field says Obama gave the ultimate okay to run with the Russiagate hoax. You're right about that. Stymied Trump's first term. He also brought the FBI and CIA in to pretend it was legit. You're absolutely right about that. The whole Crossfire Hurricane thing. Read it. Read about it if you don't know about it already. They absolutely booby trapped the Trump administration, and we should never forget about it, ever. Happy to be in Boston today, by the way. I went down to Boston to see my brother, and we saw the old Ironsides in the harbor turn around and shoot the guns. We didn't even know it was going to happen. It's amazing. I'd never seen that before. I probably have seen it out in the water. Probably, maybe not. But that was cool. That was cool. So I can tell my son, that you're looking at the boat that used that to blow away a British ship in 1812, and those cannons also blasted some I was going to say Somali pirates. It actually, yeah, they were Barbary pirates. Very cool. Okay, let's go to the chat. I think we have one chat message. Tom from Thomaston. Thanks for following me over, Tom from Thomaston, from WTIC. I don't know how they're doing now. I don't know. I haven't checked the ratings. I know that they've got syndication from 12 to 2. People generally don't love that. But I don't know. I don't listen anymore, obviously. I still like some of the people over there. But there's no reason for me to listen anymore. I hope good luck to the people of Connecticut and you guys who are fans and kind of friends in Connecticut. I do miss hanging out with you guys. I do. I miss that nice hotel in Avon too. Oh man, those. Of course, my kids were spoiled as hell. Like, why do we have to stay at another hotel? Spoiled. This place has a freaking pool, a game room. Eat your own room. I'm complaining about it. Anson, can you go downstairs, please? With your brother. All right.
Hey, Tom. Tom again. Hey, for Tallarico to say that the American flag is such a complicated symbol, what a piece of crap.
Yep.
That is a disgusting statement to say, and that alone should disqualify him. No Texan should vote for him saying that.
Yep.
Just because he doesn't like conservatives in power, President Trump, he's saying that the flag is somehow evil because Trump is the wicked ruler of the United States. It's a disgusting statement, and it's a disgusting thought to keep in your head. I didn't like Obama as president, but I never once thought the American flag was a complicated issue.
Yeah.
United States is not perfect, but it's the most perfect union that has ever been on earth.
You're right, Tom. Great message. Great thoughts. You're absolutely right. If you're one of these people who stands around and like looks at how terrible the country is, which is why they were so ready to go when George Floyd died. Like, see, yep, because we're white and we kill black people because we're terrible and because it's like, shut up. There is no better situation in the world than this country. There's not a whole lot of people moving to Somalia. I know that you think Somalis are the best in the world, but there isn't, okay? Everybody comes to one place, and it's the only place where you're so free that you can just bitch and moan about the country. Graham Platner, be a rich kid and bitch and moan. It's like there's, the poor are being marginalized. Like, oh, shut up. He said the rich are hoarding money. Like, God, you bitches. And I'm sorry, this is not like the old argument that, whether government should be bigger or smaller, or what's the role of government and entitlements. This is you hating the country. That's a freaking miracle. That is a miracle that is brought to us by men who gave their lives for this country. But you spend Memorial Day eulogizing George Floyd? What's wrong with you dumbasses? God, you dumbasses. It makes me think that there was a time I'm blaming the boomers. I'm not going to blame. No, I'm not blaming the boomers. I'm blaming the greatest generation. You guys, the greatest generation, climbed the cliffs at Normandy, Pointe du Hoc. I think that's where it was. And you climbed Mount Suribachi, and you went into Omaha Beach, and you did incredible things and saw horrific things in World War II. You fought the Third Reich and beat them. And it was horrific for the greatest generation to have done it. And I think when they saw their kids, they said, I don't want my kid to have to live through that kind of thing anymore. If my kid misbehaves in the 1960s and is part of somebody taking over a college campus, okay, I'll even tolerate it, because at least they're not doing what I was doing at 20, which they probably thought about every day. And I think they gave them leeway. And then the boomers, then a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of the boomers then said, wow, we were really special. We were so special. Look at all the cool stuff we did, because they owned media and this and that. And then they created the Gen Xers, and the Gen Xers were allowed to do a lot of stuff because the boomers thought they were special, and they would just live vicariously through the Gen Xers anyway. And the Gen X babies, the Gen X kids would have would give them grandchildren, and of course the boomers would make the grandchildren call them like Ned and like Alice or whatever. And then we just got more pussified since. I think that's a lot of it. I think that's what's happened. And we've decided to have an evaluation and mix that with communism coming back in, because it's nice and easy, and it never goes away forever. And it's all through academia. And we had the chance, with the Gulf War. That's another fallout from the wars, which I was for, with the Afghanistan and Iraq, is you gave these communists a lot of room to advance. So like Ward Churchill, saying a lot of little Eichmanns died in 9/11 and things, like guys who used to be just thought of as psychos became more mainstream, and now academia is totally overflowed with these communists. And then a lot of them, went to Columbia. A lot of millennials and younger went to Columbia, paid $100,000 a year. So they assumed they were learning the truth. They weren't learning the truth. They were learning communist propaganda. And so now they're all activists. They don't think they are, but they're activists, and they're communists, and they suck. That is the Tom Shattuck's History of the World Part 2. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Hola, Dana. Hola. My goodness. Thank you, guys. I'm going to try. I will definitely get a food show done this weekend. And we'll see you Sunday. Today's Thursday, right? For those of you who are checking out the podcast for free, thank you. Appreciate it. Feel free to be a Patreon person. You get to be in the chat. The chat is where it's at. Oh, the chat's where it's at? Look at this. I should get into media and marketing and things like that. Who thought of the chat? Who was that? Was that me? I'm not sure. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Sunday.